Welcome, here's a short demo of our new training modules. After we have the software running and the processor code is loaded, the first thing we're going to do is to shut off adaptive learning. We're going to change that value from a 1 to a 0. That shuts it off. That shuts off the long-term fuel trims, which we need to do before we start tuning. To change the injectors, the easiest thing to do is just load a value file. Since this vehicle has 60-pound injectors, we just go to File, Load All Values, and we will select the version 2 60-pound injector value file. We'll open that, and then when we look down at the fuel injectors, we'll see that everything that needs to be changed for those fuel injectors is already changed. It's pretty easy. Let's look at and adjust spark, another way of saying timing. We're going to open up the spark tree, open up the borderline knock tree, and we're going to look at all these tables. You can assume, since this is a Gen 1 Coyote, that all of the spark at wide open throttle is going to be taken from the optimum performance table, or the OP table. However, I have seen sometimes in some of the processors where it's taken mainly from table 1 and table 2. You have to data log it to see that. Looking over your file in Gen 2 Live Link from SCT, looking at all of the parameters, you have a problem here with the Bank 2 oxygen sensor, the front sensor. It's essentially dead. Your Bank 1 sensor is reading rich. This one is reading dead lean. So that indicates some sort of a mechanical or wiring problem that you're going to have to fix before we can move forward. Since yours is an earlier vehicle, we're going to be using LiveLink 6.5. Seems to work better with the earlier cars in some cases. We did supply you with that so you can mirror exactly what we're doing here. We're going to look over your file in detail here, starting with the short-term fuel trims. But to do that, let's look at RPM and change the color here by clicking on the color icon and just moving the cursor along. You'll see at idle your short-term fuel trims are just fine. Since this vehicle has a supercharger, let's look at the fueling that we're going to have to change. We'll go to Engine, and let's go to Fuel, Power Enrichment tab, and we're going to look at the Watt Lambda. It's already set to 0.84. We're going to change that to 0.8, and that should be plenty rich for this car. One good thing about these Coyotes is they have wideband sensors that they operate on all the time, including wide open throttle. This is the data log that you submitted open in VCM Scanner. You can see all the different parameters that it recorded, and we're going to be discussing these in detail, the ones that are absolutely necessary. Since we're doing wide open throttle now, I'd like to move this bottom scale over here to the wide open, put the cursor back on the wide open throttle area, and that's really what we're going to look at. And one of the things I really like to look at is the math period versus short-term fuel trims, just to see if there's any adjustments needed to be doing. And if there are, we'll show you how to apply them to the tune quickly and easily. To learn more, see the link in the description.